Welcome to Democracy 2.0 with Wayne Bouchard. And this is Malcolm Berman on malcolmpresents.com, a new portal to the brave new world of Zoomcasting. Anyway, well, I would say good morning, but it's afternoon or good day. Hey, Wayne, how you doing?
Well, as I told you before, Malcolm, since we pushed this off an extra hour, we're getting close to my bedtime. So we'll have to keep me energized and enthusiastic about.
Okay, bring on the dancing girls. No. Megan wouldn't like that, so.
Oh no, you'll get us in all. Malcolm, you get us in all kinds of trouble.
Well, that's life.
Let me get comfortable here, so I can.
It's a
so I
good,
can-
it's a good trouble.
Yeah, so we have some interesting things that happened today.
Tell me, because I've been out of the loop today because as I told you, we're a little late because I had the dental work, which is one of my favorite things to do, keeping my mouth open
Uh,
without talking.
Yeah, I hate that. I hate that. Well, Justice Clarence Thomas today granted Senator Lindsey Graham a temporary freeze on the lower court's requirement that he testified in Georgia before the grand jury. So on the surface of things, it might seem, well, here we go again, Justice Thomas. But it's just a temporary freeze so that the entire court can review this case. The lower courts have ruled against Lindsey Graham all along, and as did the 11th Circuit Court of Appeals, which is a conservative court, as we know, because that's where they've ruled against Trump a few times.
Well, how can it, if the lower court ruled against it or rules not in favor of Graham, and the appellate division, said, it's no good, he has to appear. How can how can it go to the Supreme Court? I thought the appellate was the last place he could go to.
No, Supreme Court's the last place he can go to.
Even if both the appellate division, even if the lower court and the appellate division ruled against him?
Can always appeal it to the Supreme Court.
Oh, okay.
Remember that in case you ever get in trouble.
No, well, my thing on certain issues, why the hell do they go through the lower courts in the first place when the Supreme Court's going to take it?
Well, one of the lower courts could have ruled in his favor, and then it would have been, then it would have been on the state of Georgia to appeal it. Not him.
Well, is this a federal thing or a state?
Yeah, it is, because Lindsey Graham is contesting the subpoena on the basis of the Constitution's clause that guarantees legislators, under this speech or debate clause, it's called, and it shields congressmen and senators from any law enforcement action, while they're conducting legislative business.
No, it's a screwed up system.
So, basically what the Constitution says is, that if a senator or a congressperson makes some, does something from a legislative point of view or a debate point of view on the floor of the Senate or the House, they can't be held criminally responsible.
But wasn't I'm not sure about this, but wasn't Graham, was that he called up the
Yes.
the Georgia legislator to try to see if he could make them recount the votes for Trump?
But Graham's contention is on this that he, in his position as a member of the elections committee or some committee, that he had the right to do that under this speech and debate clause.
Even though all the lower courts and all the things that Trump tried to get through have denied that there was any corruption or.
Well, what the 11th Circuit Court of Appeals said was that the communications in coordination with the Trump campaign, this is in quotes, I'm going to read you this. Communications in coordination with the Trump campaign regarding its post-election efforts in Georgia, public statements regarding the 2020 election, and efforts to cajole or exhort Georgia election officials are not legislative activities protected by the speech and debate clause.
No.
So you have to go. That's what he's contesting with the Supreme Court.
Oh, he said it should be included.
Correct. Correct. Well, we'll see what kind of Supreme Court we have, because the 11th Circuit Court of Appeals is a conservative court. Has 3 or 4 Trump appointees on it.
Yeah. Well, we'll see what happens. It's amazing. I mean, it's also that I forget which court that with Biden's. Well, this was last week's news about Biden. Suspending all the federal loans to students.
That was a different court.
I know, but originally it was denied by it was denied by the Supreme Court to take it by Barrett, Amy Coney Barrett.
Yes, so they went to a lower court.
Yeah, and then the either the lower court or the appellate court decided to review it to suspend it.
Yeah, that'll be an interesting outcome on that, because I just don't see how they can roll that back now. It's if you want to jump ahead, it's like the Republicans, they have an issue that they have found that is resonating with the voters, and that is this whole issue of the economy and inflation. And you wonder, okay, what is the Republican plan to combat inflation and to reset the economy on a better path? They have no plan.
Well, their plan is simple: do away with corporate taxes.
Right, they're gonna, yes, they will. They will offer up another big tax cut for the wealthy.
Right.
Business.
I mean, I remember, when that other guy was president a few years ago, 2 years ago.
Yeah, whose name we shall not mention.
Right. In polite company, how when they were talking about the gross national debt, going up, they said, "Oh, that's not important. This is only a number. We really don't, depend on that."
Right.
And when Biden has reduced it by half, they don't say anything about that. And then when they, the students, forgiving student debt, and they say, "Oh, that's going to cost us $400 billion. We can't afford that. Our taxpayers are going to pay for it." But yet, when they did a reduction for corporate taxes,
correct,
they didn't say anything. "Oh, yeah, well, that's gonna come back to us because the corporations are going to lower their prices." But the corporations have not lowered prices. In fact, they've higher it. It's known as inflation.
Correct. And it's also well known that corporate profits are exceedingly high.
That's what I don't understand either. The gas company saying, "Oh, we're not gouging.
Right, right.
We're raising it because the supply is less, but yet their corporate profits are the highest."
Correct.
So
So, if we can kind of look ahead and see if the House does swing to the Republican control, we can kind of almost be guaranteed that that they will introduce legislation to roll back all of the things that the Democrats did, and they will be kept really busy by impeaching Biden and Garland and the Attorney General
yeah.
and anybody else they can think of.
Can,
And
can they impeach us and throw our show off the air?
huh?
Can they impeach us? We're not elected.
No, we're not elected officials. They can just get the FCC to throw us off the air.
I don't know if is the SEC involved with the internet.
I'm not sure who has control of the internet.
I don't think anybody does, actually. I mean,
Well, somebody oversees it.
There's so much junk on it. Whoever oversees is doing a very poor job.
Well, that's true also. So they'll focus on, repealing all of the things that, all the gains that have been made in healthcare, the prescription drug decreases. They'll roll that stuff back. They'll roll back anything that was done with climate change, anything that has to do with green energy, solar power, or windmills, or electric vehicles. That stuff will all be by the wayside, and they'll spend all their time impeaching Joe Biden.
Yeah, we're trying to.
We're trying to, and Attorney General Garland, because he's after Trump.
Well,
and Kevin McCarthy, who supposedly will be the new Speaker of the House, over the weekend has said that that they may not support Ukraine in this war with Russia, which would be a catastrophic mistake in terms of national security, basically the security for the entire planet, I think, because if Russia has their way in Ukraine, what's stopping them from going to Poland, Hungary, and other countries? Like, is Putin any better than Hitler? I kind of doubt it, but that's just my opinion.
Well, we have all the stands he could take over, because that was part of the USSR.
Yes, he'll go after all that.
But and do a national abortion law.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
Well, it's bring America great again. Yeah, we'll bring it back to 1920.
Right, right.
And I think they should probably prohibit alcohol. I mean, that's a demon drug, and marijuana should go back. Well, marijuana is not fed nationally; it's not legal. But they should make it illegal for states to do marijuana.
Correct.
I think
they'll have all kinds of fun. Marjorie Taylor Greene will be in her glory.
She can become Secretary of State.
She'd make a wonderful Secretary of State.
What kind of? Sometimes I'm want to see where I could move to, but I don't know where. I have we had on the show a guy, an American who moved to Portugal and he loves it.
I have a friend of mine who is over there now, investigating the possibility of moving to Portugal.
Well, let me know. Let's get him on the show. We can zoom him in Portugal, because we did the interview with this guy and he was in Portugal.
Uh-huh.
So we could do a Zoomcast there. He was in Lisbon.
Yeah, I think he might be on his way back now, though. He was there all last week.
Okay, we'll do it when he gets back here.
Mm-hmm.
But what else happened in the news today? Again, I had my we're late with the show. I had my dental appointment.
Well, I got kind of excited. Well, the United Kingdom, Great Britain, whatever you want to call them, has a new prime minister who's a Hindu.
Oh, they got someone already? Because
Yeah,
Boris Johnson said no to it.
he said no. Well, he said no because he wasn't going to win. But I don't know how to pronounce this guy's name. Rishi Sunak or something like that. He's of Indian ancestry, and he is a Hindu. So that should be interesting. We'll see what happens there.
See how long he'll last. I think Liz, was the last name? Truitt?
Truss.
Trust.
Truss. Truss.
She was
Yeah,
for 45 days.
She didn't last long.
45 days.
Oh, I didn't even think she lasted that long.
I think it's 45. That must be hard on. I feel sorry for the poor king. I mean, aside from taking over, now he has to, to break in. Well, he had to break in the Liz. Now he has to break in this new guy.
I never feel sorry for them. No.
Yeah, I feel sorry.
I am not a big fan of the monarchy.
Oh.
To put it mildly.
No, not the monarchy, just Charles, because he had to marry the woman that he didn't love because his mother didn't like the woman he did love.
Yeah, right. It's a pity, and they have such a difficult life.
Actually, what I can see is the whole thing in England. I don't know if you've seen those, the English things, The Crown, and I'm forgetting the name of the movie about the Lord, the Baron, or whatever it was, with the Downton Abbey. I don't know if you.
Oh yeah, I enjoyed that.
I enjoyed it also, but I just wonder how people could see the king and queen and sort of like their view of God. This is their this is the ancestry. They it has to be God's will that the son of the king becomes the new king when the king passes away, and they believe it because you go down to in Downton Abbey, it goes down to the kitchen people, the people that work for them, and they really believe in the monarchy.
Yeah.
I mean, this is their heritage. It's sort of like sacrilegious not to believe in it.
Well, I think the French had the right idea.
Let them eat cake.
Yeah, well, you saw what happened to her.
Yeah.
So the other exciting news of the day was, well, I got really excited because I saw this headline come across that said the Attorney General was going to hold a news conference at 1:30 to discuss, and I don't even remember how it was worded, but it was very vague. The report I saw came from NBC. It was very vague, and I thought, oh my God, he's going to charge Trump. But he didn't. Of course, they charged half a dozen or a dozen or so Chinese nationals.
With what?
Unlawfully exerting influence in the United States on behalf of the Chinese government to undermine the federal prosecution against a major Chinese company, which, according to all reports, they didn't say who it was, but everybody believes that it's this, and I think the company name is pronounced Huawei, which is a telecommunications company, heavily embedded into the telecommunications industry in Europe, not necessarily in the United States. And this is one of the things that we have to credit Donald Trump with, is that he he stopped them from getting some major contracts in this country with government agencies and the major telecommunications networks. So the federal government is all over this now.
Well, yeah, I'm wondering if they're going to say, "Oh, yeah, that's because of Biden is getting paid off, and that's what Hunter Biden was working for them and getting billions of dollars." Watch, you're going to see that soon.
Yeah, I don't know how that's going to fit into it. Don't know.
But yeah, to me, I don't know why. I know why we get so upset. That China is trying to take over, but we did that also in
Yeah,
the
but I think
70s.
the thing that's being alleged, and I don't think they've actually proven it yet, but I think the thing that's being alleged is that this company Huawei embeds surveillance into their systems. So they are, switching and moving, phone calls from the cloud to here to there. And, we've got great cell phone service and it's 5G, et cetera, but they're spying on us.
So that's what it's not that they're doing it, taking over, it's they're spying on us. It's spyware.
Yes, they're collecting data, and they were involved in a and I believe it was a Department of Department of Defense contract that they were about ready to get when Trump said no. We're not giving you this contract. It's going to Microsoft or somebody like that. It was an interesting conflict. And if Trump knew one thing, he knew he couldn't trust the Chinese.
Well, I mean, the whole thing with big business, I don't think you can trust anybody in big business almost.
Well, if there's a profit to be made, they're going to make it. But if they're spying on you to steal, state secrets,
well, yeah, that's
communication secrets and things of that nature. And we all know that these companies that went over to China, set up manufacturing plants, they were, their intellectual properties were being compromised by the Chinese government. And Biden just last week stopped the solid state microprocessor industry from getting any more heavily involved in the U.S. and he cut them off because they've been stealing stuff from American companies for the last 25, 30 years.
At least 25 years. But something, I don't know if they're purely an American company. Because even when it says made in the USA, a lot of made in the USA means it was assembled in the USA, but the various parts were made in other parts of the world.
That's very true, but there's definitely a movement underway to get manufacturing plants, especially highly critical to the security of the country. For example, semiconductors. Let's manufacture those in the U.S. Because right now, well, in reality, the largest semiconductor company in the world is located in Taiwan. Why do you think China wants Taiwan?
Yeah. And why do you think we're defending Taiwan aside from anything else?
Exactly. So if we can get all that technology back here, manufacture it ourselves, instead of sharing it with the Taiwanese government, then we may not have to defend Taiwan.
But the question is, I don't know whether we have the capabilities of our labor force, the technical capabilities to be in those industries and build things like that. I don't know if we have the know-it-all, because a lot of the people that you see that are the technicians are not native U.S. citizens. They're all over the world, especially in China.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So we're not preparing it. I don't know if we're prepared for it.
Well, did you see the announcement of the test scores going down again? And
Yeah,
kids scoring really low in math and science again.
yeah. Well, since the pandemic.
And our kids, excuse me, but our kids don't want to work.
Well, they don't. They're not oriented like that. They're not. They're more, on their computer games, which may not be bad. I mean, we can control the world in computer games.
Well,
But
I
anyway,
look at it from this point of view, Malcolm. I don't know how you were, but when I was 16 years old, I couldn't wait to get a job. Couldn't wait to get a job. Had to get a job. And as a matter of fact, I got a job before I was 16 years old because I got a job working in agriculture, which you could get a work permit when you were 14.
I had my first summer. I was 14 years old.
Mm-hmm.
I had a job in a pharmacy, right? And I remember, I won't mention his name, in Coney Island, and I got paid $1 a day. And what was it for? To sit in the pharmacy, sit in the store and deliver orders. They had a big, delivery because it was a lot of older people who had medicine. And I'm sitting in the store the first day of during the summer. I come into the store, and I'm sitting down. After about 15 minutes, the pharmacist comes over and says, "Why don't you dust off the counter?" Okay. After I finished doing that and dusting off the medicine, I started. He said, "I'll fill in this," and he gives me things to fill in on the shelf. Then I go out for an order, and I come back, and I go to the pharmacy. I say, "Hey, I'm getting paid $1 a day, just to deliver orders, not to work in the store." And he goes, he said, "Okay, you're fired. Get out." And I said, "Okay, I work half a day. Give me 50 cents." And he gave me 50 cents. Then I started working for my neighborhood pharmacist, and I was making $1 an hour for 3 hours a night. And then, but I was lucky because I lived in Coney Island. And so in the summertime, I could get it in the amusement parks. I worked on a merry-go-round. I worked on the penny arcades giving out change. And then when I got 18, I was in college, worked up in the Catskills as a waiter. So I've been working, but I didn't work because I love the idea of working. I'm working because I had to have money. I wanted to make money.
Had to have money, but our generation has given our kids the money, so they don't work.
Well, actually, my kids worked.
Well, so did mine to a limited extent, but today kids don't work. They just don't. They go to Europe for the summer.
Oh yeah, I never had a free summer since I was 14 years old.
Yeah, neither have I.
It was
so these kids go to Europe, and
I never went to Europe till I was 40.
I don't remember how old I was, but I was probably right around that age when I went to Europe for the first time.
But anyway, Wayne, do you realize our half hour is almost up?
Really?
Yeah.
So the last thing maybe we ought to just hit on is this. There's a respiratory virus going around that's it's not a COVID virus. I don't even know what kind of virus it is. I haven't heard about it, but it's affecting little kids.
But it's hitting seniors.
Oh, really?
That's the last I heard. I didn't hear the news. I just heard like the headlines.
I did not hear that.
It's at kids and seniors. I don't think seniors are as bad as the kids. Because a lot of seniors I still know are they're sequestered. They don't go in groups. Because they're afraid of it. I mean, there still is a feeling of fear going out there. I mean, I got all my shots, so I mean, hopefully, but who the hell knows?
Right.
But anyway, young man, I don't know whether we'll do a show. We'll determine if we'll do a show next Thursday. I'm available if
This
something pops
Thursday.
up. Yeah,
This Thursday.
this
Yeah,
Thursday.
let's do a show this Thursday.
Okay, Thursday at 2. I'll try to make it to 2 my time, 5 your time.
Correct.
So you won't fall asleep on me.
Right. You managed to keep me awake through this whole show.
I hope we keep our audience awake. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoy the show. You're listening to what was the show? Democracy 2.0.
2.0.
2.0.
Democracy 2.0.
With Wayne Bouchard. Bouchard. I keep on trying to add that to Wayne Bouchard. And this is Malcolm Berman for MalcolmPresents.com. And we'll see you later on the week. Keep your eye on the news and we'll tell you all about it. Ta-ta.
All right, Malcolm. See ya. Bye.